Now, I apologize if you hear the fan in the background. It's something that's going to happen. Need that. The general idea we're working with here is we're going to build 2 boxes out of this tray. So each one's going to hang at one side. Well, that's a hell of a lot of good, isn't it? It might work better if I actually cleaned this first, but whatever. We're going to build 2 boxes. Go to this tray. Now, I don't have a what's it called? Press brake. That's not marking anything. Yeah, it'd mark better if I cleaned this thing, but we're going to build 2 boxes, which means cut, 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 and bend all that up, fold the ends over, and bolt it all together. Going to be relatively useful. It's going to be reinforced with these pieces here, so it'll be a little stronger than the thickness of this. That's, I think, about an 18 gauge, which is what I want. This is about a 16. But yeah, we're going to cut those, reinforce them, bolt everything together, and then find a way to mount them. I was thinking, I'm not sure I want to mount to, well, I know I want to mount to these 2 points. I'm not sure I want to mount to this one or not, because these are on the swing arm at the bottom here, and this is on the frame, on the actual chassis of the bike, which means there'd be flex between them. I don't want that. So I'm thinking this one's on the hinge of the swing arm, so this to this is a stable distance. It's not going to move. This will move. So if I connect to these 2, I'd be okay. If I connect to these 2, I'd be okay. So what I'm thinking is these 2 here and a bar underneath between the chain to connect the other 2, mounting it directly to the swing arm. That might do better. It's a little shaky in there, but if I can get it mounted to the swing arm, just in front of the tire, just a flat bar across to support the weight, that would probably do better than hanging it from the top. And it'd also make for less interference around the sides. So there's the idea. Next part's going to be cleaning this so I can actually mark it, and then cutting. I'm debating, because it's thin enough, I could get away with just using shears instead of breaking out the angle grinder. I know it's more fun with sparks and lots of noise, but there's the rough plan. Now, I know how much of the plan is already capable of being done. I have flat stock, well, not flat stock, square stock that I could use to build the support bar underneath. But I think first step, yeah, I'll clean this and then mark it and start cutting it. This of making these battery trays, as you can see, it's kind of difficult to do with a pair of pliers and a pair of vice grips. And that vise I have is way too small to deal with it. So we are going on an adventure. Got to go out into the shed of all places. Well, make sure I have a light for that because there's no lights in there. That'll do it. Got to find cold chisel, or several possibly. Someone had heard that I was trying to get this light going here. Someone had heard that I was trying to form sheet metal without a press brake. So you can't form sheet metal without a press brake. The first thing ran through my head and what I, mentioned to him. So, how'd they form sheet metal before they invented a press brake? He hadn't thought about that. I didn't get into it at all. If I own, well, now I own one, but if I can find, look at that, more pedals. Those don't blow. If I can find a cold chisel, it's going to be in one of these buckets, I hope. Because if it ain't, it means it's in one of these big fuck off black toolboxes I got down there. And they're not good to get at. They're not easy to reach. Here's hoping. I think. Jesus. I think I have to go in those big fucking toolboxes. This one's all electrical and that one's all plumbing. There's one more place I can check. A third bucket, which is unfortunately crammed in here, buried. It has in it tools. Good. There we go. Here. All right. I don't know what that is. It's Hilti branded, so it's got to be a decent quality at least. No, that's more electrical stuff. Although, those might serve a purpose. No cold chisels. God damn it. 3 more pairs of cutters. Huh? That's going to be useful. Nope. That ain't what I need. Now, what's supposed to be happening in the shed, as the deal was, is I'm splitting it half and half with one of the other roommates in here. Unfortunately, from here over is his half, and then his fucking lawnmower is shoved in there too, and then his fucking shit's all over the back wall. So yeah, I got less than half, and there's not enough room to get in and out of there. got to find a way to deal with that. In the meantime, a few more tools to work with and a couple more parts, but not the tool I need. So I'll turn you off. I'll go take a deep dive in that shed, which means I have to haul a bunch of shit out of there to get at my toolboxes. And then I'll find the cold chisel and bring you back when I got that. I've cleaned up after the mass archaeological dig in the shed. I not only have found my straight jaw and left hand cut snips, I also found two more right hand cut snips. Left them in there because I already got 2 pair out here. Well, I got 3 pair out here. But one's aircraft cutters. I found that I own a grand total of 2 fucking cold chisels. I thought I had more than that, but at least I got 2. Not going to need that for anything right away, but it'll go with the rest of my Allen keys. I found 2 brick chisels. I thought I knew I had this one. I didn't know I had this one. I also found all of my fucking C-clamps, my bar clamps, and a big fuck-off hammer-on-it screwdriver, a chipped end, but that can be straightened out. I didn't know I still had. I thought that had went the way of the dinosaurs. But I still got it, so I can, well, in the spring when I have room and time to take the bench grinder out, I can cut and resharpen that. But I got now all of my C-clamps. And with the little bits of board I got, it'll actually be useful for me to straighten shit out with that sheet metal. Got a couple of bungee cords here too. Not sure what I'm going to do with them, but I'll do something. Not even sure how good they are. I mean, they might be stretched out and frozen by now. But let's see how much these cold chisels help. We're putting the bends into this metal, this 18 gauge steel I'm working on here. Let's get a cold chisel and a hammer and we'll start. Let's find the right hammer. Start with this one. So you just gotta make that line an actual bend. Again, this is how they did it before such a thing as a press brake existed. Which, seeing as I don't got a press brake, I might as well learn to do shit the old way. Mark where that bend is going to be with the chisel. And like starting a fold on a piece of paper. Actually, it is like starting to fold on a piece of paper, except it ain't a piece of paper. And you have to use a hammer to do it. Okay, that makes a rough bend. Very rough. Missed out in the corner there, but it's already pretty much bent to shape. Yeah, I'll bend it up anyway. Hit it a couple more times, see what happens. know, this is actually working out a lot faster and a lot better than I thought it would. Awesome. Now it ain't going to be perfect, that's for certain. I don't think I'm ever going to get a perfect score in anything. So it may be failure, but for the moment, it's looking pretty good. Just got to straighten out that little wave there. And I got to do that bend. So yeah, hail to the old way. There we are. I'd declare this good enough. For finding the right tools to do the job gets done faster. Now, I'm going to have to drill a couple holes. Well, once I get that end bent in, I'm going to drill a couple holes in these folded over tabs. Put a little bolt nut across there. A rivet if I had one, but I ain't got one. But I'll put a little bolt nut across there, and then I'll find out how to mount everything up. Talk to you when that's ready. Hammering, only a few minutes. There's the first one. Not perfect, not pretty, but solid as a rock. Little curves and waves here and there that I don't give a fuck about. It will do the job. That'll sit there nicely. Redesigned the support structure underneath as well. I was going to use those square bars to go underneath, but that is unnecessary, as it will mount here very nicely, and underneath it, these being 16 gauge, lot heavier actually, I'm going to cut off so they will mount one side flat on the bottom of there, flat underneath the chassis here, which will be the level these boxes sit at. Cut that in half, and it will go out far enough to support the box itself. So they'll be bolted in the bottom here. Going to set about like that. About that much space underneath there to mount to the flat, but that little T-structure will be enough to support this whole thing out to that distance. So they'll be bolted there, they'll be mounted there, they'll be bolted there, everything will be good and solid. Batteries will sit in them. Weight distribution will be very low. Well, center of gravity from the weight distribution will be very low, which is good. Now that these are declared indoor tools, as they're going to have to go in the indoor tool spot, which is kind of getting full down there. Stuff that I generally use indoors, as opposed to having to run back and forth to the shed to get it, do stuff outdoors. And it being closed now winter, you know, more stuff's going to be indoors. But regardless of that, this will be the next piece. See, there's the factory bit there that I don't give a fuck about, that will sit much as this one. That factory corner, this is actually for the opposite side, will sit to the front. there. And it's going to be supported from underneath, so I'm not going to have to worry about it falling and that bending where it's not structural. So that should be fine. So next, I got to build this box. And I cut these to length. Then I got to start these to length, sorry. Then I got to start drilling holes. So when I get to the next step, I'll show you. Talk to you next time.